Hey, what's up, Improvement Warrior? Jason Yan back with you again. Welcome to the Improvement Warrior podcast, episode number 16. This is going to be a food log breakdown. I found an old food log from June of either 2013 or 2014. So we're going to break it down because I made a lot of mistakes and a lot of stupid things that I did there that I did not know. And when you know better, you do better. So, but a lot of things going on. So wanted to go over quickly I know I haven't talked about it. Books that I've been reading. So I finished the Earthing book. So it's called Earthing, the Greatest Discovery or the Greatest Health Discovery Ever. A great book and highly recommend it, especially if you have people who are suspect of grounding, so they don't believe in it. So there's a lot of studies in there. And I mean, the best study you can do is just go out, put your bare feet in the ground and ground. But a lot of the people that were in the book, that were examples, that had their symptoms or diseases reversed, they weren't even grounded in the grass. They were hooked up to grounding rods. So that's one thing that I do is I sleep with the metallic sock, okay, which I covered in the sleep episode number 7. But I finished that book, and a new physical book that I started here was the UCC Connection: How to Free Yourself from Legal Tyranny. And just amazing book. So listening to the Jesse Elder podcast on the Ben Greenfield Fitness podcast. So I've just basically been diving through his old podcast, Jesse Elder's old podcast. But this is about common law and just teaching you all types of different things that you would not know that the government is trying to basically hide from us. So I'll hook this up in the show notes, and I got 3 of them. I don't even know the author, so his name is not on the front or back. But this one is based off of a bunch of lectures from Harry Freeman, I believe his name. He died in 1992. But I'll hook it up in the show notes. You can check it out. But common law is basically Constitution and all this stuff, and it's ties into basically what we're going through with the C thing going on. And the other book on Audible restarted the David Goggins Can't Hurt Me, You Can't Hurt Me book, probably for the 5th time, and I finished the Invisible Rainbow. So that's Invisible Rainbow. I'm going to go through multiple times as well. That's one of the books on EMF, electropollution. I think everybody should read because it ties into basically every major electrical event, ties into some kind of pandemic. Okay. And on the other home front, so a lot of things going on here. So I am running around with, if you're not watching the video, I have a broken pair of blue blockers. I did a post. That'll be on the blog as well. But I've got my old raw optics. I lost my Midwestern light therapy pair. They should be here tomorrow. I lost them helping a guy push his car out of the snow. But this is getting annoying, so they should be here tomorrow. So I've been 4 days with a broken pair of raw optics. They stay on pretty well as long as I have a hat on. And the other thing is we got a new heater and new water heater. So I found a leak down in the basement. Normally I run the dishwasher overnight, so like midnight to 2 a.m. or something like that. But I had discovered that it didn't take the dishwashing liquid, so I just reran it, and I went down to work out and then saw that it was starting to leak. So we called the plumber, and basically he said he cut holes into our wall and said all kinds of like the original plumber sucked, basically. And then we had to get Atlas Butler in here. They had to redirect the pipes going out of the wall, cut off the pipes that were originally put in, because apparently the plumbing or the plumber who did that sucked. But we had to shut the heat off for a couple days. Got down to 48 degrees in here. My wife took the kids to a hotel for that night. Of course, I stayed. 48's nothing. Sleep outside in the winter in a tent. But very interesting stuff. Now we've got dehumidifiers from another company. They're trying to save our wood floors. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. So this is the third day we've had the dehumidifiers, but it's been very interesting. And my wife just flew this morning to the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl, I don't even know what it is. It's the Bengals versus the Rams. So we'll see. So I have the kids till Saturday. All right. But that's enough intro. And I know I didn't do any intro on the last one, autism and autoimmunity. But this one is breaking down my food log. So let's get into it. Let me share my screen here. All right, and this is currently a blog draft. It will be a full blog as well, which I'll link it up if you prefer to read. So I like to get blogs out, podcasts out, audio, video, all that stuff. So whatever way you like to learn, you can. And that's the big thing. We must learn. We must keep learning, keep striving, and keep training our mind. All right, so I'm assuming this was from the original when I signed up for Isagenix I'm assuming it's from 2013. So it's June 2nd. It says day 1, and I'm assuming it's my 30-day cleanse, my original 30-day cleanse. And basically, if you're following along, you can see it at home. But I'll go over pretty much everything. It's basically I ate 8 times, or actually 9 times, because I had an Ionix Supreme, I think, when I just woke up. And then later on, I had a shake probably 30 minutes after that. But it's a total of 9 meals I ate throughout the day, starting at 4:40 a.m. and ending at 9:17 p.m. So that is almost a 19-hour feeding window, which is absolutely ridiculous. 19 total eggs throughout the day, and I know these eggs were not the best either. They were probably Aldi's eggs. Now I only get my eggs from a farm, and mostly they are duck these days. So I would say about 75% of the eggs I consume are duck. And I've been doing a lot more raw eggs as well. So anytime I do like just eat sardines and salmon, I'll put like a raw egg on top as well. Yummy, yummy. Remember, anytime you cook something, the protein gets denatured. So I try to eat my seafood raw if I can. Eggs, I've always put it in my smoothie, adding more to my seafood, and beef liver. So I take out I have frozen baggies of beef liver, like 1 ounce, like half an ounce to 1 ounce in the freezer, and I'll just take it out and I'll just pop it in my mouth 2 to 3 times. Usually with mustard, because I don't like the taste of beef liver like a lot of people. So, but you get it down. I think it actually tastes better raw than it does cooked, but that's me. But I always say organ meats after seafood, most important. And let's see. So this log dates back when I was on Isagenix and doing the paleo diet as well. So If you haven't listened to my podcast, I did an entire podcast on why I left Isagenix and basically my supplement journey. That's episode 6. I'll link that up in the show notes. Show notes for this one will be improvementwarriorfitness.com/food log. And one thing that shocked me the most in my food log was the banana. I didn't think I was actually eating bananas in 2013, 2014, especially when I was paleo. I've probably eaten 2 since going keto, which was July 6, 2014. And both of those were on a treat day. And there's just so many better things that you can eat. So most people say they're doing it for the potassium or it's low fat or whatever, but there's a whole bunch of things that are much, much better for you, and you should be eating instead of a freaking banana. And if you do live in Ohio, where I live, unless you're getting your bananas from a specialty farmer, then it ain't local. Okay, it's flown in from Chile, Argentina. I don't even think they come in from California or Florida. But yeah, always try to eat local as much as you possibly can and eat seasonally as much as you can. Eating a banana in February, which it is now, snow on the ground, not too smart. Okay, the banana grew in a certain temperature with a really high UV, and the UV here is 2 and never gets over 2 and probably won't until middle of March. So basically you eat light, and if you're eating the wrong types of light, that's going to affect your mitochondria. It's going to cause a circadian disruption. It's going to cause inflammation, and things are going to start to go haywire. Okay, so my mitochondria is feeling the cold, feeling that, and you put a banana in, it's like, what the hell is this? Okay, it doesn't know what to do. So it starts to break down, create more reactive oxygen species, more free radicals, and then a cascade of cell chaos, which I believe is episode 2. I went over that. So the other things I would not eat anymore on this list are chia seeds. There is they've got lectins in it, which is an anti-nutrient. Some things you can get lectins out of, like nuts and stuff like that, by pressure cooking it or soaking your nuts. But with chia seeds, you can't soak them because they froth up and do all that stuff. Okay. Lectins are apparently one of the biggest problems. So the plant paradox, I forget who wrote it. Oh, Dr. Gundry. So I'll put that in the show notes. It's a good book, but obviously light is more important. So if you are eating chia seeds every once in a while, it shouldn't be a problem as long as you're getting your sunlight, especially on your gut. Okay. Just learned that the skin has, per cubic centimeter, we have 6 million cells in our skin. So the skin is basically an eye. It's basically a mouth. It is a sensor. It's one of the biggest. It's the biggest sensor for the photoelectric effect. The other thing I had an issue, or the other things I would not eat anymore on the list are kale. So kale is one of the worst and the highest anti-nutrient veggies out there, especially if it's raw. Never eat it raw, or just never eat kale at all. And I mentioned before meal number 4. So let's go over when I ate. So I put meal number 0, which was actually number 1. I had my Ionic Supreme, which had about 30 calories, 6 carbohydrates. So I probably had that when I first woke up, which is probably 4:30. Then I had meal number 1, which was 7 ounces coconut milk, tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, 1 scoop of chocolate isolene, and 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, 6 strawberries, 1 medium banana, chia seeds, and freeze-dried kale. That was probably driving there, so sometimes between 4:45 and 5 o'clock a.m. This was when I was teaching my classes when I was doing this, so boot camp class here. Meal number 2 was a paleo brownie. Had that at 7:30 a.m. Meal number 3 at 8:50 a.m. I had Isopro, which is their whey protein, and 1 nectarine. And then I put indication marks here before meal number 4, very hungry. I wonder why. Meal number 4 was at 11:30. I had 2 pieces of flounder, 1 cocoa, so I assume with chocolate, 1 orange, and 1 egg. Before meal number 5, I put hungry again. I had 5 eggs, tablespoon of bacon fat, onion, mushroom, 1 carrot, and 1 apple. That was at 1:15 p.m. Then at 4:30 p.m., I had 5 more eggs, cooked in coconut oil. Oh, that's what that is. So the fish was cooked in coconut oil. So meal number 6 was 5 eggs, coconut oil, spinach, 6 strawberries, and an avocado. Meal number 7 was at 7:30 p.m. I had 3 eggs. And I know this was in between my classes, so I couldn't go a full. So I had 3 classes, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. I couldn't, or not that I couldn't, I probably could, but I would get just hungry. So I would have to eat after the 6:30 class, before the 7:30 class. That's how ridiculous it was. Then 9:17 was meal number 9. After I got home, 5 eggs, 1 tablespoon of bacon, so I'm assuming that was bacon fat cooked in it, onion, sauerkraut, and half a chocolate. Okay, so that was what I ate. 9 total meals. Again, a 19-hour feeding window, which is ridiculous. So it's just 5 hours not eating. Okay. You talk about digestion issues right there, and sleep issues as well, which we'll go over. So I mentioned before, meal number 4, that I was very hungry. Again, when you eat multiple small meals a day and eat every 2 to 3 hours, like I used to, you become a slave to food. And you basically turn off your circadian signaling. You become leptin resistant. Your body turns into something that gives you hunger signals at certain times of the day, rather than giving you the signal when you're actually hungry. Okay? And every time you eat, that is a stress to the body. And digestion is one of the most metabolically demanding processes in our body. Some processes in us get shut down completely to digest, and others get turned way down. It's why eating so close to bed is really, really, really bad. Because you can't get into the deeper stages of sleep, which is the REM, stage 3, and stage 4, deep sleep. That's the sleep that recovers us. That's the sleep that takes you into autophagy, where you take out the trash and replace the good stuff. It's where apoptosis occurs, where the programmed self-suicide takes out the bad cells. Okay, and that is also why people feel the need for coffee and carbs all the time. Eating too late, or eating carbohydrates out of season. Multiple reasons. Well, obviously, blue light, electric pollution, playing with their phone until they go to bed, not having the red filter on their phone. All this stuff just adds up and adds up and adds up.
And now a quick message from one of our sponsors.
Is the ketogenic diet a fad? Well, that depends on who you talk to. For me, it definitely is not. Keto is a lifestyle. It should be incorporated seasonally, but not until after you have reversed your leptin and insulin resistance. which, if you are doing everything right in terms of your light, electropollution, cold exposure, food, and exercise, should take no longer than 18 months for any starting weight. My 47-day ketogenic diet challenge will teach you the basics and beyond for getting started and continuing on with a ketogenic and low-carb lifestyle. It comes with an introductory keto webinar, 104-page ebook, recipe book, replacement food guide, dining out guide, entry into my private Facebook group, and an introductory leptin webinar, because not all people will be starting with a ketogenic type eating style. Check it out at improvementwarriorfitness.com/keto challenge. Use discount code podcast for 10% off. On this day, I ate at 4:45, 7:30, 8:50, 11:30, 1:15, 4:30, 7:30, and 9:17 p.m. So basically, the whole day, my body is in a digestion process. Okay? No wonder I felt like crap, but at the time, I didn't feel like I felt like crap, because I felt the best I ever felt. But, I mean, anytime, because I came from the standard American diet to paleo, and anytime you switch from a standard American diet to anything, maybe except for vegan, maybe except the first week of vegan, even vegetarian, you would feel better. Okay? But I kept learning about food, then learning about the light water magnetism, non-native EMF, the cold, and things just keep improving and improving. Never stop improving. And looking back on my health, then I would have told you every day it was a 9 or a 10 every day. Okay? Now looking back, I would say it was probably somewhere between a 5 and a 6. So that's a big difference. My energy stores basically came from food, as I was mostly living an indoor life, indoor zoo animal, being that person. Grounding was not in the picture for me as an everyday habit. Because I know a lot of my old videos, I'll be working out outside. I'll just have like a tank top on, but I'll have shoes on. Okay? Not smart. Eating that much destroys your leptin. So, you know, I talk about leptin all the time. Leptin webinars, I've got 3 parts to them. If you are leptin resistant, you need to go through the leptin reset. Leptin reset resets your circadian biology and resets your timing of food. Okay? Eat when it is light out. So if it's light outside, kitchen's open, and kitchen doesn't open until you see the sunrise. Okay? So try to eat within 30 minutes to 45 to 60 minutes after seeing the sunrise. Okay? And it needs to be that big ass breakfast. Lots of fat, lots of protein. If you're severely overweight, carbohydrates will be less and less. Okay? But if you have energy problems or stuff like that, you can eat more carbohydrates as long as they're in season. All right, so I certainly, well, back then I thought I was a fat burning machine because I was eating 9 times throughout the day. And the bodybuilding magazines, the Bro-Science, it tells you you've got to stoke the metabolism. You've got to stoke the metabolism. And plus, if you go more than 3 hours, your protein stores, you're going to turn catabolic and your body's going to start eating your muscles. That was the mindset that I had. Okay? That's the mindset I would basically it was drilled into me. I was brainwashed, which a lot of people with this pandemic are brainwashed into thinking certain things, okay? Certain wrong things. Okay? But I keep trying to wake them up, and I will not stop. And we're going to win. So we're going to knock them out. The Bro-Science is just complete bullshit. It's bodybuilders in their magazines, and I mean even men's and women's health magazines are still touting that nonsense. Eat every 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so you get protein. The meals have to be small. Okay, of course they're going to be. If they're small, you're eating every 3 to 4 hours, you're going to be hungry. Okay? And depending on what source you're getting, some of them are still saying low fat, stay away from saturated fat, which is the major fat of our brain, along with DHA. Okay? Just nonsense. So feast and fast is how we evolved. Leptin needs a minimum of 4 hours before sleep with no food to be able to work properly. Okay? So there's two big rules with eating. Eat during the light cycles. Kitchen is closed when it is dark. However, you have to finish eating 4 hours before bed. Okay? So when I finish eating in the summer, because my bedtime, typically I want to get to bed by at least, the maximum is 10:45. Okay? Sometimes I don't hit that, but the majority of times I do. And a lot of times it'll be earlier. Okay? But in the summer, I can go 6:45 is my latest that I can eat. Okay? November, December, 5 o'clock. Because it gets dark, I think 5:05 was the lowest it got. Okay? So it's going to have to change seasonally when you finish. Or you can just go, I know Ayurvedic practices, they always say finish all your meals before 5. Okay? But you'll talk to some nutritionists who will say never eat after 7, never eat after 8. Okay? It all depends when you go to bed and when it is dark. A maximum of 3 meals, with the first one being within a half an hour of seeing the sunrise, to reset yourself back to leptin sensitive. So if your hormones are out of whack, you will be out of whack, and you will suffer from a disease if you don't already have one. And it'll just keep getting worse and worse the more circadian mismatches you implement into your life. Leptin is the master hormone. One thing I noticed on here was my DHA was very low. Flounder is a very low on the DHA scale. Get some water. But it's still better than lamb-based meat. Okay? The best lamb-based meat is lamb, but it doesn't compare to oysters, shellfish, salmon, anchovies. Shellfish is the best for you, followed by the acronym SMASH for fish. So that is sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, and herring. These are the smaller fish, and they haven't built up the toxicity of mercury and other pollutants. Okay? However, but remember, seafood has the solution for mercury and lead and other toxins with all the selenium, copper, iodine, and other nutrients. So I cover all that stuff in the Epipaleo diet webinars. 2 parts. I'll link that up in the show notes. The apple and the carrot that I ate were not in season yet, as it was June. Seasonal eating as much as possible with lots of good DHA and water is probably the easiest way I can tell someone to start eating optimally. And raw as possible. Okay? And adding good eggs and organ meats. Again, if you don't like liver, heart and kidney, if you were to do a taste test, most people couldn't tell the difference between that and like a steak. It's very, very good. Now, in February, where I am now, it's pretty much I eat seafood, meats, eggs, nuts, fat, mushrooms, and the only regular veggie is onions. I will have an occasional avocado. I do bake a lot, and my keto ice cream recipe is a go-to. So it isn't just boring eating all that stuff, as you would think. I do a lot of sandwiches, so my Keto Buns, I will link that recipe up. I don't think I've made a video of it, but keto rolls, keto buns, you can turn them into whatever type of bread, and they're absolutely delicious. I usually make extra when we have hamburger night, and I'll make like an egg sandwich and all that stuff. So delicious. I haven't actually, seafood would be the other
Seaweed and sea vegetables.
veggie that you can eat year round, or, well, it depends, context, case by case scenarios. But I haven't had seafood in a long time. I haven't been to an Asian grocery store. I need to go. So, anyways, it's always fun looking back. Let me know what you think. And if you need help with your nutrition, with your anything, just let me know. Okay? So, always fun to see this stuff. I do wish I had my food logs from my bodybuilding days. So that would be really fun to go through. And my workout logs. So it's probably in my dad's storage. So I need to go through that next time I go over. But yeah, that's basically it for this podcast. Short one here, but let me know what you think and all that. Always looking for comments, questions, and don't forget to follow me on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. And we are looking for reviews. Reviews help get the word out, and I really appreciate it. So it takes time to put these things together, record them, edit them, all that stuff. That's why I took such a long break in between number 14 and 15. So trying to just get everything organized where I want to take my business and all that stuff. But if you need help, let me know, and I will check you later. Till next time, have a great day. Stay strong, stay positive, be the improvement warrior.
34-day light challenge. Your light environment is more important than the food you eat and the exercise you do. The world needs more light gurus and less food ones. This path requires that you suspend the belief that to get healthy, all you have to do is change your diet and start exercising. This is a half-truth that is missing the other half. The other half is the reason why we are in the middle of multiple disease epidemics. The 34-day light challenge is not a nutrition or exercise challenge. This challenge will teach you all you need to know about the health habits in regards to light, natural, and artificial that will put you on your path to optimal. Mitochondria is our powerhouse of the cell, and if it goes bad, then it doesn't matter what you do in terms of nutrition, exercise, supplements, drugs, doctor visits, yada yada yada. Until you fix the mitochondria, your health will suffer. Think of it as an engine of your car. Do you get more scared when the service engine light comes on or the low fuel light comes on? You probably have seen the low fuel light many times before. Maybe you are one who actually ran out of gas. But when that engine light comes on, it's a big, uh-oh, what's wrong and how much is this going to cost me? When your engine breaks, the fuel you put in makes no difference at all. The 34-day light challenge is going to help you fix your engine. Register today at improvementwarriorfitness.com/light-challenge.
We are always looking for ratings for the podcast. It helps my podcast be found by others looking to improve their life and health, as well as it helps us get ranked higher. So please help us out so that I may continue bringing this life-changing podcast to you and others around the world. Just go to the leave a review section of your favorite podcast listening app and let us know what you think. 5 stars is preferred, but please be honest. Thank you in advance.